Let's get into some 2025 quarterback discussion.
Okay.
Because there is a lot there. We already got Daniel Kaelin's already in 2024 quarterback. They got him committed. You're starting to look ahead, though. And it seems early, but it's not early because you've got to get a jump on what you want to do at that position. And it feels like Nebraska does have a jump under Matt Rule, Scott Satterfield for 2025. Stone Saunders out of Pennsylvania, 4-star industry-rated quarterback. He kind of has emerged as the early name for Nebraska. He came back for a third trip to Lincoln this week, and I think that was very notable. But then a new story developed this week for Nebraska. They offered a quarterback out of Algona, Iowa, Alex Manske. Robin, you're kind of an Iowa expert. Are you familiar with Algona, Iowa?
I'm not, to be honest with you. I actually didn't even know it existed until I started seeing these recruits pop up. So
it's about 250 miles from Lincoln. I did a little reconnaissance.
Okay.
So very, it's almost like you're going to Ames, or it's north of Des Moines. It's further up north in the northern part of the state.
Okay.
But Algona, Iowa, and let me tell you, everything I've heard, I've seen, Alex Manske is a real find, and Nebraska's got a leg up on this guy. He's got a Wisconsin offer, but that was from the previous Paul Chryst staff. It wasn't from the new staff. Then he had a Pittsburgh offer, but Pittsburgh has kind of a method where they offer everybody, and then they try to get you to visit campus. So there's really not as much weight in a Pittsburgh offer necessarily. The Nebraska offer to me carries weight because he came to campus, he worked out, they had a great deal with him live, and he's coming back again Saturday. So Alex Manske will be here twice over a 7-day period, and I predict he will blow up. He's going to get a lot of teams. When we talked over the weekend, I said, I'm just curious, Alex, after you had visited Nebraska, how many other teams kind of came in and offered you or talked to you, and he had several teams come in and visit with him. Teams like Miami and
I can see it.
A lot of programs around the country.
Yeah, he's an intriguing player. You got to watch about 6 minutes of his film to see. He's intriguing. First of all, the first throw he makes on the film is a 60-yard
dart.
I mean, he can really throw it deep. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I like him. I like quarterbacks like him because he's one of those guys that can kind of throw it like a shortstop too. If he has to stop. If he has to stop, plant his back foot, and throw a little sidearm, he can do that. He's got a great feel. He can run a little bit. They say he's pro style. He's listed that, but he can run it a little bit. He's just really good under duress. I mean, if there's a pass rush, he can elude it. He can find enough time, and he doesn't need a lot of time because he's got one of those quick releases, like a second baseman turning two. He can do that. Now, also though, he can just classic 5-step drop and gun it. I mean, I totally understand why Nebraska coaches are excited by Alex Manske.
Yeah, to kind of give you an idea, when he got the Nebraska offer, within hours, he heard from Miami, Florida, Virginia Tech, Kansas, and Notre Dame.
Yeah, watch him.
He had not heard from those teams before that. This week, he'll camp at K-State, Iowa, Missouri, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Oklahoma's another team that's kind of involved. So, he's going to get more offers here this week. But yeah, here's some good.
Well, yeah, we're looking at sophomore tape here. I mean, that's a sophomore. That's a big time player. That's what that is. He's playing college football. I mean, it doesn't take you don't have to be Mort to see it. Mort, remember him?
Josh Allen.
I don't know. No, I don't look at him like.
By the way, you're still getting killed for the Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I went a little too far on that.
Last week, Sipple said that.
Now, what did I say?
Jeff Sims is a better thrower than Lamar Jackson.
I think he's polished.
Yeah, I mean, I get the reference.
Yeah, Rob, help me out.
So Rest in peace, the comments.
Sipple's not the only one that has used Lamar Jackson as an example. I don't know if he's a better passer at this point, considering he's a MVP quarterback, but I get what you're saying. Like,
what about Mahomes?
Dynamic athlete.
All right. I don't know what I was trying to get at there, but he's I don't know. He's very intriguing to me because of his arm strength. I'm just going to say that.
So how about Algona with Manske, Jack Limbaugh? I mean, like,
oh yeah.
how are they producing just this like elite
I
level
don't know.
Power 5 talent? I've never even heard of them before.
I think that's a little school. I mean, I'm watching that film, and it's one of those schools where they're playing games where you can see you can see a TV in the house by the field. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you could sit on a patio and watch a game.
Jack Limbaugh is a Husker legacy.
Yes.
His father, Jack Limbaugh, played for Nebraska as a walk-on, but his mother is Amber Holmquist.
Okay.
Remember the volleyball player?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Amber Holmquist. Now, Stone Saunders is a little different. He's not. First of all, he plays a higher level of football. Stone Saunders in Pennsylvania, and he was the Max Preps Pennsylvania Player of the Year. Now, Player of the Year in Pennsylvania is saying
That's
something.
no joke.
No, he's more technical. He looks more technical to me. He's less apt to improvise. Manske, I like him because he'll roll out of there and like I said, kind of throw it sidearm sometimes. You don't see as much of that from Stone Saunders. And Stone Saunders, by the way, if you watch the tape, he's throwing a number 6 all the time. And if you look up number 6, that's Rico Scott, and he's committed to Alabama. So he's got an Alabama.
That helps.
Yeah, it really helps.
And I saw Saunders at the camp.
You did?
Yeah, so he was there on Saturday.
watched him, so-
Yeah, so
What'd that look like?
I mean,
Seriously.
the pool of players, it kind of was what it was, but he was by far the best, as you would expect, and just looked like a natural out there. He just had the zip on the ball, poised, had a little bit of a swagger to him. And so, I mean, he looked every bit what you would expect a 4-star recruit to look like.
Yeah.
And so, he's not like the most physically imposing type guy, but he looked like a guy that carried himself like a high level quarterback recruit.
Yeah, 6'1", 195. I think 6'1", 195 is Stone Saunders of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Manske 6'3", 205.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. He's a smaller guy, but as far as polish goes, he's got it.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you're Iowa, though, can you let Manske get out of the state?
No, I'd say no. No, that's my answer.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd be a
that's what I'm
tough
saying.
deal.
And the timing of this is really good. Rule, new coach.
Mhm.
There could be changes in Iowa City.
Yeah.
We don't know that, but it feels like things could happen there. So they could pluck this guy at Iowa. And he's been to Iowa games. He's on their radar. But give Matt Rule and Satterfield a lot of credit. They offered.
Mhm.
It takes guts to make kind of an early quarterback offer to a guy that's not, the trendy 7-on-7 superstar quarterback.
3-star guy.
Like a guy that's getting a lot of recognition because he goes on trips every weekend. I mean, this is old-fashioned recruiting right here.
Yeah.
You could see it though. He pops. I mean, he's an interesting prospect for sure. I could definitely see it.